heard. We need to connect in a meaningful way in order to feel good as human beings, but we spend the majority of our time trying to hide or play different roles or put on a mask so that people might like us a little bit better. But let me tell you this. There is no way that you can come up in your mind with a better version of you than the one that you already are. You know, think about it. Like how could your brain possibly conceive of something that's better than you? You were put here for a very specific purpose, and you matter. So unless you're completely 100% you, and being seen and being heard and connecting with other people and working on similar missions and doing all that great stuff, like there's no way that you can conceive of a better you. Like you're already the best that you can be. So I think that that's the lesson that I learned, and I really wanted to share it with you today, is we have to stop to the best of our ability hiding and morphing into different versions of ourselves that we think people will like better. Because in order for us to feel good, we can't toss aside integral pieces of self. What we need to do is stand up, stand in our power, use our voice, be heard, be seen, take those risks, because there's no easier way out. There's no easier, softer way. We have to do those things in order to feel good. So if you want to feel good, it's kind of like sometimes you have to like kind of close your eyes and just kind of like leap, and that's okay. You're always going to land on your feet if you've got you. Okay? I'm seeing on here, before I answer the questions, that, you know, everyone around me doesn't think that I'm the best that I can be. You know, who we are and what we do are often not in line. And so this leads me to something. I was talking to somebody this morning, a young woman who's just amazing in every way. I always think whenever I meet any of you, gosh, if you could just see yourselves the way that I see you, you'd be walking down the street with a smile from ear to ear. And so this woman was saying, like, God, all I need to do is, like, I just need to get my shit together. Like, how do I get my shit together? And I don't even know what that means, getting my shit together. And I said, like, well, okay, so getting your shit together, the way that I define that is, you know, making sure that we're aligned in 4 areas of our life. The 4 areas are physically, you know, and I talk about this all the time: eating right, sleeping enough, exercising to get our body working for us rather than against us. Spiritually, connecting with other human beings in a meaningful way on a daily basis. Not going through the day thinking about how you feel, but going through the day thinking of how do I make my little inner circle or my small community a better place. And that often makes us feel good when we make that shift from self-centered to other-centered. Intellectually, just learning something new every day. You know, one thing, I always used to worry that I wasn't interesting enough. And one thing that I learned is if you keep reading and you watch TED Talks, you listen to podcasts and you listen to live streams, and you really gain you learn a little something new every day. Then it keeps your mind working, and it does keep you interested in life and interesting to others. So that gives you an opportunity then to connect. And then the last one, we have physically, spiritually, intellectually, and emotionally. And emotionally, well, that's what we talk about here on Girls Talk. And that's the managing the negative voice. You know, doing things like mindfulness and deep muscle relaxation and meditation and all of that great stuff to try to manage our emotional well-being. So getting shit together means aligning in those 4 areas. That is physically, spiritually, intellectually, and emotionally. So if the people around you don't think that you're the best version of you, either change your company or take a look at yourself and say, am I doing the best that I can with what I've got? And if you can honestly say to yourself, no, I'm really not, I would start in those 4 areas, and in no time, you're going to shed the impact of society. Because when I say you're the best that you can be, you came great, right? And so if you have behaviors that aren't so great right now, that just means that they've kind of come on through the years. And so we need to shed the impact that society has had on us, which a lot of times is those behaviors that we pick up in order to make us feel better in this place, right? Okay, let's see. Oh, wow. Hi. Oh, hi. Hi, Maxim. It's so good to see you here. I miss you. Okay, let's see. Most people I know. Oh, so somebody was saying on here that they don't know about a clear career path. Like they don't know what they want to do. So here's the deal. This is what I've learned. What I've learned about, I often have this because I see a lot of girls and women. I'm coming into my office, who are at the age where you're kind of like trying to choose, what am I going to do with my life? And one thing that I've learned is to dive into whatever you think you want to do right now. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's what you're going to do forever. When I was the age of many of you, I spent all of my time dancing. My goal was to be a professional dancer. And so that's what I thought I was going to do. After that, then I thought that I was going to be a lawyer. And so I was studying to go to law school. And then as it turns out, now I'm a psychologist. Who knows? Maybe in 10 years I'll own a bakery. I have no idea. But I think as long as you give whatever you're doing right now, everything you've got, different doors open and opportunities come along. And then you make a decision whether you want to take them or whether you want to leave them. And, one thing that I've learned about plans is they're always important for me to have because it makes me feel a little bit safer if I have a plan, but none of them have ever really come to fruition. And so as long as you bring you into everything that you do, I can't imagine that you won't end up great. Let's see here. All right, I want to address some of the questions that have come in, and I will continue to look down and try to answer the questions that are coming in right now. But if I don't see it, that doesn't mean that I don't want to answer it. It means that I just haven't seen it. So please post it again and again because I'm not really that good at multitasking, like looking at you in this camera and looking down for your questions. So I'm not ignoring it. Please know that. Okay, so here's a question that came in. All right, so I see this a lot too in girls and women who are in university. And, a lot of times when it's nearing the end of the semester or nearing the end of the school year, everybody's in a panic, worried that their roommates are not going to want to live with them next year and they're not going to have anybody to hang around or that it's going to be super awkward. So somebody wrote in that she had a conversation with her roommates who she's living with right now, and they told her that they just want to live together. They don't want her to live with them, and that she's not any fun anymore. And she's feeling really lonely and down and feeling like she totally just got ditched. Okay, so here's the deal. I have a couple of thoughts about this. The first thing is just because some people don't choose you does not mean that you're not valuable, right? Everybody's not going to like us, and that's okay. I can certainly say for me, not everybody likes me. I'm a very strong personality. A lot of people are like, no thanks. And, for a while that really bothered me, and I would kind of tone myself down a bit trying to be liked, but then I didn't like me. And so I think the key here is, how do you feel about you? Do you want to live with you? If you want to live with you and you're good with everything that you are, and you know that you're kind and you're compassionate, and that you're accountable, you always do what you say you're going to do, you're honest, you take responsibility, you respond and don't react to your environment, you have integrity, you do the right thing when nobody's looking. If you have all of those qualities and you're good with who you are, then who the hell cares if they want to live with you or not? At that point, I wouldn't want to live with them. So there's that. When they said you're not any fun anymore. Now, I've certainly gone through periods in my life where my anxiety was super high or my mood was super low, and I really was not a lot of fun to be around. I wasn't a lot of fun for me to be around. And so one thing that I've learned is when people give us feedback, whether it be negative or positive, I don't really take any of it and run with it. I kind of reflect and look and say, okay, so is that legitimate at all? Or do I need to kind of do a little soul searching and kind of gain some insight into myself here? And so if somebody told me I'm not any fun anymore, first of all, I'd ask them how they define fun, right? Because some things, we don't all like to do the same things, and what's fun for one person isn't fun for another person. So I'd say, first of all, can you define fun? And the second thing I would do would be to look at myself and say, okay, is my anxiety or my depression getting in the way of me kind of being fun to be around? Do I have fun around me? And I wouldn't dismiss what others say immediately. You have to do the soul searching piece first. Now, if you appraise that you're not so fun, then we need to start to work on mood a little bit, right? Or decreasing that anxiety so you can get out and kind of be free. Because somebody who's not free sometimes is kind of like a drag, right? And I've certainly gone through many periods. God, when I was in university, I was such a drag. I didn't go out at all. I literally sat in front of the television and watched the Weather Channel, making sure that it wasn't going to be snowy on the weekend so that I can get home to my mother because it's the only place I felt safe. So all my friends were going out and going to parties and doing all these things, and I was there like binging the Weather Channel, you know? So I certainly was not fun to be around at that stage of the game. But that wasn't a reflection of who I am. It was that my anxiety was so high that I wasn't even present anywhere that I was. And so my suggestion is look at you and then make a determination if there's something getting in the way of you and being present and being free. Because if somebody says you're not so fun, they have to first define fun. And then number two, if you reflect and say, they might be right. Well, then we have to figure out how to get you free and present, and that might mean working on mood and working on anxiety and things like that. Okay? Let's see. Okay, I want to address this. Sierra, is that your name? Those qualities are very difficult to keep up for the average person, let alone somebody with mental health. Please tell me which qualities you're talking about, and maybe I can address that a little bit. Okay? I'm going to keep on looking for that because I think that's important, because if you're having that thought, a lot of other people likely are too. Okay, so here we go. In the moment, I am going to answer the next question. The next question is, I don't want to do anything. Let's see. I don't want to do anything. It's not that I don't have a lot to do. I have a lot to do, but I just can't really seem to motivate. And I always tell myself, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. And then I never really get to it. And it's making me feel really badly about myself. I think we've all probably been there, done that, right? And there are certain things that are a little bit easier to do than others. So when I get into those modes, right, where I just can't kind of get my shit together and get everything done that I need to get done, things that are hard, I often say, things that are really difficult for other people to do are really easy for me to do. Things that are really easy for other people to do are really hard for me to do. Like writing out my bills, like doing like paperwork kind of things, like going to the grocery store, like normal stuff. Like it completely escapes me. And so I really have to set a plan for myself to get those tasks done. And I have to break them down into really small bits. So I might say, okay, tomorrow, all right, I need to get my bills right now. That's something that I need to get done. So tomorrow I'm just going to take them all out. Let's see. I'm going to answer this. I'm going to take them all out, and that's all I'm going to do. The next day, I'm going to get my checkbook, and I'm going to write out the checks. That's all I'm going to do. The next day, I'm going to put them in the envelopes and write out the addresses. That's all I'm going to do. The next day, I'm going to bring them to the post office and mail them out. That's all I'm going to do. So I think breaking down tasks into really small bits can make at least working towards it a little bit easier and make you feel like you did something towards your goal today. So if you're not feeling motivated and every night you say, tomorrow's going to be the day I'm going to get started, my suggestion is to get your ass out of bed and start now by doing a small bit. Break everything down into small bits that seem manageable, because if we don't do the small manageable bits, our entire life becomes unmanageable. And when it becomes unmanageable, that really impacts mood and then our behaviors. So my suggestion is break every single thing down to little bits and just do one little bit a day. It doesn't matter how fast you go, just that you go to feel good about yourself. Okay? Let's see here. Oh, the next thing is just a comment. I have many people who have written in and said that, they're in recovery. And, some days are harder than others. But I just want to kind of give you a shout out and just say, if you're sober, you're awesome. And I know it's really, really, really hard with alcoholism or drug addiction. That's just such a cunning, sneaky disease. And, if you are doing it one day at a time and you're winning, I just want to take this minute to applaud you because you're like a freaking rock star. Because that is, it's not easy, and you're so worth it. And I know, one day at a time. The thing that, they often don't tell you is it's one day at a time, but every day. And so I know that it's likely not easy, especially in early recovery. But I just wanted to give you a shout out and say you're doing it. And that's amazing. You're amazing. Okay, the next thing. You're welcome. The next thing, okay, I like a boy, and I'm almost certain he doesn't like me. I don't know how you're really certain about that. You don't know that. You're making it up. But we're friends, and I don't want to ruin our friendship. But, like, so should I say something, not say something, because I really like him? Here's my deal. I always just like to say it, right? Like, if you're thinking it, you're feeling it, just say it. Because you say you don't want to ruin your friendship, but it's already kind of ruined for you. Like, you can't be present with somebody, and you know, a true friend is somebody who helps you to become a better version of yourself and you're completely open and honest with, and vice versa. And if you're holding this big thing back, like I'm in love with you, then there's no way that it's a true friendship, right? So I think that if it's a true friend and a friendship that's worth keeping, then you just put it out there and be like, hey, dude, I think you're great. And if they say, oh my God, I think you're great too, and I'm attracted to you too, and like, let's go out or let's hook up or whatever, then you're like, all right, great, I'm glad I said something. And if they're like, oh gosh, like, and they toss you back into the friend zone, then you're like, okay, at least I took the risk, and I did what I needed to do, and you know, time heals all. And so my suggestion is, you have value, you are worthy. Anybody who has a great head on their shoulders and is friends with you would, of course, be open and honest with you, and it wouldn't ruin the friendship. So my suggestion is, go for it. Why not? You have nothing to lose. Okay, the next one. Oh, I recently had a work meeting, and my supervisor said that everybody, all of the people around me at work are stronger than I am, and let's see, that they that I'm too soft compared to my peers, and my job is everything to me. I commit everything to my work, and I'm feeling really awful about myself and kind of lost, and I don't know what to do. Okay, so if somebody says you're too anything, I don't believe that as human beings we could be too anything, right? So there's no such thing as too loud or too soft or too anything. So somebody's saying, say what? Somebody asked a question. She had a work meeting, and her supervisor told her that she is not strong enough and that she is too soft compared to her peers. And so I'm addressing that question. So you can't be too anything, right? Now, sometimes, especially as girls and women, we're not really good at saying what we mean, meaning what we say, and not saying it mean. Sometimes we are really focused on keeping everybody around us comfortable, and so we don't just say it, whether that's in our personal or professional lives. And so my suggestion is, you always have to just say it. And so maybe your supervisor means that, you know, you try to keep everybody around you comfortable because you do value others and you do value your job and you are so committed to your work. I hear you. But important that you say what you mean what you say, don't say it mean. Set good, solid boundaries. I would definitely ask your supervisor to define too soft or, you know, not as strong as your peers, because I know that you are super strong. And the reason that I know that is we each have incredible strengths. And that includes you. And so I would ask your supervisor what he or she means. And then I would kind of take a self-assessment and see if I am, you know, advocating for myself, and if I am saying what I mean, meaning what I say, not saying it mean, using my voice, standing up. I would definitely do that self-assessment and take it from there. Okay? Let's see. Okay, next one. Okay, and this happens a lot. Somebody's living at home with her parents, and she's in her 20s and kind of feeling like really shitty about it, but she doesn't really know what she wants to do. And so she doesn't really have any motivation right now, right? Because she's like, well, I need to save money and live with my parents because I don't really know what I want to do with my life yet. And I'm not making enough money to get my own apartment right now. So I'm just kind of here. But the way that's impacting my everyday right now is when I meet new people or if I go on a date and they ask me about me, I feel so guilty and so embarrassed that I don't have really anything going on, that, you know, I often have such anxiety that I don't even want to go or do it. And so it kind of is keeping me stuck. So ask me, what should I do? What should I do about that? And so this is what I think. Here's the deal. You're in your 20s, right? they often say, you know, and I'm hoping this is true, that like 40 is the new, 30 or I don't know, 20. So maybe that means 20 is the new 5. I don't know. But the point is that many people, you know, are leaving home much later because it's so expensive to get apartments. And, you know, it often takes us a little bit longer than in the past to reach the goals that we need to reach in order to be able to survive financially on our own. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like there's no race. We're not running a race. It's not like, you know, society tells us certain things like at this age you should be doing this and at this age you should be doing that. But like all that shit's made up, right? As long as you're healthy, physically and emotionally, and you're happy and you have a good relationship with your parents and it's working out, like who really cares, right? Isn't that just geography where you live? And so, you know, if you're feeling guilty or badly that you don't have that you're not doing anything, I find it very hard to believe that you're not doing anything, right? Like you don't get up in the morning and just like lay in your bed. Like you're doing things. And what we do does not make us who we are. And, you know, I've learned most things that I know since having my daughter Ava. And I can tell you right now that I love being a psychologist and I love all of the things that I do. But if I stopped doing all of it, she wouldn't care. Right? And the reason she wouldn't care is because it doesn't make me who I am to her. Right? And so, you know, like I said, you know, I was going to do all of these other things with my life and I became a psychologist maybe in 10 years old in a bakery. I love to bake. What you do does not make you who you are. And so if you stop focusing on how these people are going to be judging you, because it's really how you're judging you, not them. If you stop focusing on how these people might be judging you, you'll have the opportunity to try to connect with them in a meaningful way. The reason you're going on a date is not so that somebody could potentially judge you. It's so that you can learn about them. It's that you can connect with them in a meaningful way. So instead of worrying how you're judged or how they're seeing you, I want you to focus when you go on a date or when you're meeting somebody new, I want you to focus on seeing them, hearing them. Let's make it about them. And I'm telling you right now, you'll be able to connect in a much more meaningful way because all your shit will kind of go away. And then you're going to feel fulfilled. And so are they. And so it really doesn't have anything to do with what you do. It has to do with who you are. And if you give yourself the opportunity to be seen, be heard, listen to the other person so you could see them and hear them, you're going to connect on a level that you're going to realize that what you do really doesn't matter. Okay? Okay, that's the answer to that question. I'm going to move on to the next one. Oh, thank you so much. I'm getting a lot of positive feedback, and honestly, it makes me feel great. Not going to lie. Love it. Like, it really does make me feel good, because you never know. Okay, let's see. How can okay, so this person had struggled with an eating disorder in the past, and she didn't say which eating disorder, but she said that she was struggling with an eating disorder in the past, and she's in recovery from the eating disorder, but now she's going to the gym like all the time, and if she doesn't go to the gym, she feels like shit. Okay, so here's the deal. Everything is on a continuum, right? So what I mean by that is it's not categorical. So things that are categorical are like, let me see, you know, there are certain categories. On a continuum means that it like goes from really extreme to not so much, right? But it's all on the same continuum. Well, everything's like that, even eating disorders. And so maybe you're not restricting anymore, or maybe you are not binging anymore. But going to the gym, you know, means that you are likely engaging in healthier behaviors. But if you're going to the gym obsessively and you feel badly if you don't go, your thinking likely has not changed. So you have to remember that if you were struggling with an eating disorder in the past and you're in recovery from the eating disorder, but now you're obsessed with going to the gym, your thinking hasn't changed, your behaviors have. So your behaviors have gotten a little bit healthier, but your thinking maybe not so much. So what do we want to do? Well, what you want to do, everybody is welcome here. Everybody is welcome here. Somebody just asked, you know, if everybody is welcome on Girls Talk. Yes, males, females, everybody, you know, this says, you know, about the sexual spectrum. Of course, we are all about equality here on Girls Talk. So, to finish the question about eating disordered behaviors and going to the gym, I want you to manage your negative thoughts. I want you to recognize, how come you need to go to the gym? Why do you feel guilty if you don't? Have you internalized society's ideal of thinness? It seems to me like you have. What you need to know is that you are everything. What that means is, society has a whole bunch of social norms. Social norms are manners of behavior that are deemed acceptable in a society. If we don't follow these norms, we are shunned or suffer some kind of consequence. For those of us who do follow the norms, though, right, and try to fit in and are, like, we listen to the norms to be thin and attractive and accommodating and successful, but without threatening the social system, all that stuff, we suffer a lot of consequences too. And one of the consequences is body image concerns and eating disordered behaviors. So it sounds to me like you've internalized that thinness norm, and you think that that's going to make you a better version of you or going to make you more likable. And I want to tell you that that's a message that, yes, you receive from society, and it's bullshit. As a human being, we need to eat 3 meals, 2 snacks. We need to exercise moderately. But our weight has no correlation with our value. And so in order for you to feel good, you need to toss aside social norms and what society wants you to be. And you need to be all that you are. You cannot feel good as long as you're trying to be something that you're not. Because the deal is we can be a second-rate version of other things and only a first-rate version of ourselves. And I'm here to tell you that the first-rate version of you is more than enough. Okay, let's see here. So that's that. So I would start to monitor your thoughts and see if you've internalized social norms. The goal for you should be to value you, to treat yourself like you matter. Do not restrict food. Do not treat yourself like you're in some boot camp and you need to go to the gym every day in order to have value. You have value because you breathe. You have value because you are. You have value because you're here. And the only way that you can feel that is if you treat yourself as you do. I remember years ago when I thought that I would feel my worth and then I would treat myself as if I had it. What I've learned is unless you treat yourself like you have value, you can't feel like you have value. So you have to treat yourself like you have value, and then you're going to feel your self-esteem increase. Okay. I'm going to answer this question. Let's see. I answered that. Oh, this is someone who gets a whole ton of opinions from everybody. So whenever she's making any decision, she needs to get opinions from everybody under the sun. And then she feels like she has so many people's opinions in her brain, whether it be for work or for her personal life. And then she's like even more confused. So here's what I think. And I actually had a woman say this to me the other day. Like, I don't really know who to rely on. Like, I don't have anybody in particular to steer me. And so many people have different things that they add. And I just don't have anyone in particular to steer me. What do I do? And I said, well, what about you? Like, you're a somebody. You can steer you. And, this I didn't learn until I got quite a bit older. But we have everything that we need to get through this life in a healthy and happy way. And you are a somebody, and you are completely capable of making decisions. And there's nothing quite like making decisions for yourself, sticking to it, creating a life for yourself. When you do that, you can feel like you matter. You feel independent. You feel like you can stand on your own 2 feet. When we're always relying on other people, we're much more like a weather vane than the wind. You need to be the wind in your own life. You need to make decisions for you. You need to rely on you. You need to steer you. And yeah, a lot of times you're going to mess up and it's going to be the wrong decision. But you're going to learn from that. And you're going to recognize that, okay, if you make the wrong decision, well, you just make a different one tomorrow. That's the beautiful thing about each day, is that every day comes with new choices. If you make a decision today, make a different one tomorrow if it's not working out. But make it yourself. Because if you want to gain any sort of self-efficacy, and feel like you can handle this life on your own, then you're going to need to start to do that. You don't need comfort. A lot of times we feel a lot more comfortable getting so many opinions from other people because we don't really want to take responsibility for it. But Comfort is not necessary. You are. We don't need to feel comfortable. We just need to get comfortable feeling uncomfortable. Because I can tell you right now, still today, I'm uncomfortable a hell of a lot of the time. But comfort is not the goal. Being you is. Okay? Okay, let's see. I have one more question here. The question is about happiness. I have a lot of people, and they weren't really specific questions, but a lot of people to say, like, how can I be happy? A lot of people, the goal is happiness. And so I just wanted to kind of talk about that a little bit. When I was back in school, I remember one study that I did was called, Who Are the Happy People and How Do We Get There? Because I wanted to know how to be happy too. That was really all I wanted. And so I was like, yeah, but it seems like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing, but I still don't feel happy. And so, what I've learned is that there's a difference between pleasure and happiness, okay? So, a lot of times we think, okay, we're going to do these fun things, and we're going to kind of tie together momentary pleasures, like we're going to go this place this weekend, and then we're going to go to work, and we're going to hang out with these friends at night. And we think if we do like a little something in each day that causes pleasure, that makes us feel good, then we're going to be happy. Doesn't work. You can tie together momentary pleasures, and they feel good, but you don't feel fulfilled. The way to feel fulfilled is to live a purpose-driven life. And it doesn't mean like you have to solve world hunger, to say you have a purpose, like your purpose could be something, quite small that has a big impact on you. Right? So if my purpose for today might be to make myself a nutritious meal tonight, to fuel my brain and my body. And then I'm going to the grocery store and I'm getting all the stuff and I'm making my meal and I'm eating my meal. And it's like, damn, I did that. And so to feel fulfilled, we do have to make the shift from self-centered to other-centered. And so that means taking breaks in your day to do something for somebody else. It doesn't have to be something big. It could be reaching out to a friend. It could be, stopping by somebody on the street on a cold day and say, hey, do you have somewhere to stay? And making sure that they have the phone number for the homeless shelter. It could be, like making dinner and bringing it to an elderly person or to your grandma or whatever. Like, as long as if you make your day, one thing every single day about doing something for somebody else, that makes you happy. And it doesn't feel like it would be too much fun, but let me tell you something. Fulfilled feels a hell of a lot better than fun 7 out of 7 days of the week. And I've definitely learned that the hard way. So yeah, fun is important, but fulfilled is necessary. Okay, let's see here. All right, so I think that I have answered all of the questions that came into me. Let me see if I can answer a couple of them on here, because we do have a few more minutes. Let's see. Oh, how do you deal with people liking you if you don't feel like you are worthy of that? Okay, so here's the deal. Let them love you. I think that a lot of times we don't see ourselves clearly. And so when other people like us or love us, we're like, damn, like, I hope that they don't get the memo that I suck. Like, I remember, like, if people would like me or love me, I would think, like, oh my God, like, they don't get it. Like, there must be this whole thing about me that they don't see, because inside, like, I'm not really that great. And, then I learned, no, instead of worrying that they're going to see me how I see me, how about if I try to see me how they do? And the only reason that I learned that, or the way that I learned that, was, I know how I see other people. And I have people, girls and women, who talk to me every single day. And I know that if they just saw themselves the way that I see them, like, they would be so excited to be themselves. And so now I know that if I can just see myself the way that other people see me, then I can be excited to be myself too. So the whole deal is that, you might not be comfortable at first with people liking you or loving you, but just take it and try to see yourself the way that they see you. And within a good amount of time, you'll see yourself that way too. And then you'll know that you're worthy of love and loving. Does anybody have any other questions? I'm going to wait here a couple of minutes to see. Somebody is help, and you can email me, heylauren@girlstalk.com, and I can make a referral for you if you need therapy or something like that. Because this is psychoeducational, where I answer questions and it's education and things like that. But as far as therapy goes, I'll do my best to make a referral for you in your area so that you can get the standard of care that you deserve. Okay, I see a question here. How to increase confidence. Okay, so I'm going to address this one, and then any other questions, please forward them to either my Instagram, that's dr_Lauren, Lauren, so dr_Lauren, and I'll try to answer them there. Or if you want them to be on the live stream next week, you can send them to heylauren@girlstalk.com or send them to the Girls Talk Instagram, okay? All right, so the last one that I'm going to answer is on confidence, how to increase confidence. So here's the deal. This is one reason that we have a really hard time increasing confidence, is because people confuse confidence and self-esteem, okay? So if people confuse confidence and self-esteem, what we're doing is we're increasing confidence, but we're really looking for self-esteem. And so confidence is a feeling of self-assurance that arises from the appreciation of your abilities or qualities. So that means, like, I get good at doing things. Like, I get good at, like, I'm confident in my work skills. I'm a confident dancer. I'm a confident cake baker, or whatever the hell, right? So you can get confident at doing a lot of stuff, or I'm confident in my qualities. Like, I know I'm kind, or I know I am compassionate, or whatever. Got it? Or I feel like I look good today, right? So confidence in my appearance. So confidence is abilities or qualities. Self-esteem, I think, is what you probably want to increase, and that's confidence in your own value. Confidence in your place here, that your place here matters, that you make a difference. And so what we do oftentimes is we get good at doing a whole lot of shit and we still feel like shit. And we're like, wait a second, what's going on here? How do I even increase my confidence? Well, I think it's to recognize your value. And your value doesn't come from doing, your value comes from being. Nobody really tells us that. But your value does not come from doing, your value comes from being. And so what does that mean? That means that you were born with all of your strengths. You were born your purpose. We don't have a purpose. We are our purpose. And so if you just do your damnedest to shed the impact of society and do a lot less efforting and a lot more being, show up in a meaningful way for yourself and for other people to connect in a meaningful way, make that shift from self-centered to other-centered. Stop focusing every day on feeling good rather, than focusing on doing good, because doing good feels a hell of a lot better than when you focus on yourself, right? So all of those things, that's how we begin to increase self-esteem. And then we're confident at the same time in the things that we do, and we are. Okay, so does anybody have any last minute thoughts? If not, remember, you can go to my Instagram if I didn't answer a question that you have right now, or you can submit questions to heylauren@girlstalk.com on the website, or to the Girls Talk Instagram, and I will be sure to answer them on next week's live stream. I'm really excited to be here today.